Invicta Holdings was formed from the merger of Invicta and Bearing Man and has a market cap of 5 billion rand. It's controlled by Cape-based investor Christo Wiese. Its range of engineering products and agencies include Fenner, Ferodo, Clubcar and New Holland. Invicta has been rated in the top 100 companies on the JSE 17 years in a row. It trades on a price to earnings ratio of 12. Well, Tshepo, let's throw this one to you. It sounds like a good story.
It is a good story. Top management team. I think both of these companies are high quality businesses, and just to give you an illustration of the numbers that support that, over the 13 years that we've got data for Invicta, they've given they've given you a profit every single year for those 13 years. They've grown their earnings 90% of the time, which is impressive, and they've given you a dividend every single year. So these are companies that have been able to sustain profits and sustain dividends over 13 years, so these top quality.
From a disclosure perspective, you do not have any relationship with the company whatsoever. So besides the top management and top quality, you don't like the stock, but Mr. Theron, you do.
Well, I decided of the two tonight, it's the one I prefer, which we'll get to a little bit. But just to preface this comment, these businesses basically started out doing a little bit of manufacture and a little bit of importing, but in time have evolved mostly to be import-based businesses. Reason being, obviously, if you're looking for belts or for, bearings, there are enormous manufacturers in Asia with enormous quality and massive economies of scale. So they're very sensitive to the rand, and they're sensitive to the demand that comes from the industries that they supply. So obviously, if the mines are expanding and developing their plants and facilities, that's going to be good for them, and their margins are a function of the rand. So all of them are doing quite well currently.
Why do you want to be exposed to something that's margins are a function of the rand with the current rand volatility?
Yes, true, although there are times and there are times. The way they work obviously is that they all compete with each other, and they are able to adjust their prices in order to take advantage of things. But certainly it helps them when the rand widens, because then their stock all gets revalued and their margins creep up without anybody really noticing.
Again, how does that tie into the philosophy of a value manager, that the rand has a major impact on these companies?
Look, it will have a significant impact, but the underlying sectors that these companies are exposed to probably have a greater influence on these businesses. So Invicta, as an example, has got quite a strong exposure to the agricultural sector, which through the cycle will have sustained demand, and we've seen earnings being solid over that 13-year period. Actually, I'm doing them an injustice. I think they've had strong earnings over that period. So despite them being very exposed to the rand, they've done well over 13 years.
And with that big theme of food scarcity, big on the agenda right now.
Yeah, that's the New Holland agency they've got, plus they've got a couple of others. Look, you look at the business, they've got fantastic little lines. They've got Clubcar, which is those golf carts, I mean, what a great business. Electric cars you drive around the golf course in. What fun. Everybody wants one of those. But the Bearing Man business, because this thing is the combination of the Cape-based Invicta, which is controlled by Christo Wiese and the Titan Investment Company, and Bearing Man, which was in the Anglo-Val Industries Group. Greg Till, Lance Sherrill built that business in Durban out of the corner of a warehouse, and basically just acquired one brand agency from another and basically followed the evolution of the industrial economy around the world. So sure, they're fine, they're well-established businesses, but they're basically boring, and as I acknowledged earlier, they are susceptible to margin expansion and growth, and they're small businesses. I mean, they've done well, they're the survivors. Other people have lost their way, they've accumulated moss as time has grown. But they're, 4 or 5 billion rand market businesses, dull.
Dull, but then into, as you said, Christo Wiese, and you don't have dull anymore, do you?
Look, I don't know if you can make bearing sound fun. I think even with Christo.
But surely Christo can put some colour into this story.
No, look, you've
Invicta.
got.
Right, so we need to go to hot or not on this one.
Look, I think it's a great operation, and the fact that the rand is softening means that it's probably going to have better earnings in this year relative to some of its prior period. But that's not a secret. Everybody can see this one coming. That's why it's rallied up to this level around 70, which is the 5-year high of the stock. So, you know,
maybe not a wise thing to buy in at the 5-year high of the
yeah,
stock.
and the tradability is okay. It turns over about 1.3 billion, a million rands worth of stock a day. So you can nibble at them, I guess, if you have a sort of value orientation. But not for me a stock which is going to be transformative. There's nothing in this company that is going to cause its earnings to explode in
Hot
the years
or
ahead.
not?
Not hot for me.
Tshepo, hot or not on Invicta?
I'm going to go lukewarm if I can.